How to deal with abusers in a sick society? See, a sick society, or a society in general, is nothing else but the result of all the people that represent it, especially their ancestors, because they have been setting the trends that have been karmically sent to their following generations. Because whatever a generation cannot transcend, it will be given to the future generations. If you cannot transcend a certain suffering, a certain whatever point in your life, your children will inherit it. And well, it will probably be even more challenging for them. But also, times change, so it may be easier or not. What we see nowadays is not an explosion of abusers in society. Society has always been like that. We see an explosion of people who, an explosion in the number of people who wake up and realize how fucked up this sick society has been. If we think about it, obviously it's been like this for since forever. It's not that nowadays people have suddenly become horrible. Don't forget, religion also plays a huge role into this sick society because it's been programming you in a way, not religion itself, but how it has been interpreted through time, that all people are evil, right? Does this remind you of the Talmudic teachings where everyone else but some people has to be killed because that's how their God speaks to them and that's the only way their God will love them? See, this sick society is nothing else but a coalescence of all the fuckers who comprise it, right? You're not gonna see happy souls, people who are calm in a sick society, right? They unfortunately are overwhelmed by the miserable people. What will miserable people do? Anything possible to spread their misery, right? So you will see a sick society filled with rapists and murderers and offenders of any kind, right? You'll see anti-national people, people who will claim anything possible against their own humanity because, well, anti-humanity has become their comfort zone. That's why you see them so lacking in emotions, so minimizing of themselves. It's like they don't exist, they're just slaves of their own impulses. When you have to deal with such fuckers, only the highest punishments will settle a sick society. If you have too many immigrants, you'll have to push them back to their own country if they're causing troubles. Because you have to understand, you've been here for longer since than them. If they come and cause trouble, remember that if someone comes and causes trouble in your house, you have to be a weakling to allow them to do that, right? And you have to understand, not all immigrants are necessarily evil, but in Europe we're seeing millions upon millions of them who cause nothing else but trouble, right? A lot of Muslims or so-called Muslims come here and cause terrorist attacks and such. You don't hear anything from their freaking leaders, from their fucking countries. If something about them happens, they all like jump high in the air in despair and cursing and cussing and the such, right? It doesn't give me much of a good impression about their leaders, but well, what Europe is dealing with is not Islam itself, right? We're not dealing with the cream of Islam. We're dealing with just the scumbags, right? You have to understand when you deal with people who offend life, you cannot deal with them in a peaceful way. Sending them to prison will not make them good people. You have to find more radical versions of punishments. And Europe is becoming a lot more loyal to the older ways because, this is what the mainstream media is talking about radicalization. People are starting to remember that religion has only been used against them to simply puff them up, to simply make them soft and subservient. Let the abusers kill you. Let the abusers rape your children. Do not tell them anything, right? Because you're gonna hurt their fucking feelings. Nobody cares about some rapist's fucking feelings. They don't deserve to live in a society, and that's it. Because as long as they're gonna live in their society, they will always seek to finalize their obsession. An obsessive mind is the most dangerous mind because a mind which is set on one single objective is almost impossible to stop. Now, that objective can be consciously chosen or unconsciously chosen. That's the difference. But still, a mind set on one objective is very hard to stop. Why is it that people in this sick society are all distracted? because a sick society can't let you focus on one thing. You focus on yourself, you realize your inner strengths and how much you've been giving your energy freely to some bozos who've been murdering your ancestors, murdering your kind even now in the present, and they're telling you to live, to be saintly, to give all your riches to the heavens. What riches will you be giving to the heavens? Because Agenda 2030 says that you're not going to have any riches left. You're going to be left out in the cold, in the streets, and you're going to die of starvation, right? Zionism has done that to Russia. Zionism is doing that to Europe. A French study said that, people in America gain far more money than people in Europe now, and especially people in Asia. In some countries, like for example Japan, the living standards are far, far better than, so-called Europe, right? So where is this so-called European well-being that everyone is talking about? All these bozos in the European Union, they have only one fear, that people will kill them. Because everyone who's a fucker, everyone who's an offender, their fear will be that they will one day meet someone who is worse than them. A serial killer like those fuckers from the European Union who want to kill Europeans because they serve the Communist Manifesto. That is the Bible of Zionism, because Zionism gave birth to communism. It's all written in the Communist Manifesto. Full extermination of the white race, extermination of Christianity, and what they now call the traditional family. They call it so because they want it to sound obsolete, as if their new version of gay families should be something new. But statistics at the same time say that children raised in gay families typically have a much, much higher suicide rate. Because when people can't live beyond their sex organ, obviously they're gonna be nothing else but rapists. When you legalize them having children, that is an affront against humanity. That is an affront against life itself, not necessarily against humanity. You have to realize we humans aren't much of an importance to this planet. A bee is far more productive to the planet than we are, because at least a bee makes sure, through its pollination, that plants exist. And through that, you have all the air in this world. Unfortunately, most of the people are so miserable they're uselessly breathing that air, just so that they keep spreading their fucking misery. Unfortunately, a few of these actually become rapists and murderers and the such, and they will indiscriminately continue their fetishes. You have to understand, prison will not change these people. Prison will not break these people, will not make them better, will not make them probably even worse, because most likely an indiscriminate killer, an indiscriminate rapist, there's nothing worse than them anyways. They have achieved the highest level that they can in their ignorance of life. So I assure you, more precise punishments will be done for such fuckers in society. You will see. Just like Trump is doing a lot of things against people, and you see all these Hollywood celebrities cry in videos that, oh my gosh, everyone is being deported. You are freaking illegal immigrants also. And through the laws that the administrations of, the USA, the administration gave you a certain citizenship. It wasn't that much of a legal thing because it was done against the people's will. It's happening in Europe as well. It's been happening. Yes, it's happening most especially in Romania because they hate Romania for a certain reason. But this is for another video. Hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. You are appreciated. Take care. Enjoy life. And this being said, Ferenc Board signing out.